Have you ever had an idea that you thought could change the world? Good afternoon. My name is Paulo Campos, and I'm the founding managing partner of Kaya Founders. I'm very happy to be with you all this afternoon. Today we will be talking about a new wave of Filipino entrepreneurs. I hope, and I dressed for the occasion to be a celebration and an ode to entrepreneurship in the Philippines, and a small window into my journey as an entrepreneur myself, and now on the other side of the fence, as a venture capitalist, supporting some of the amazing entrepreneurs the Philippines is producing today. A number of you in the audience might recognize some of these companies and names and logos that you see on the screen behind me. And indeed, if you look at technology-backed and technology-enabled companies in our part of the world, there's been nothing but a revolution in terms of how consumers live their lives over the past decade, with many of these companies becoming a very important part of all of our lives. So my talk will speak about what unites those companies on the previous slide, which is that they were all startups once upon a time, many of them still considered to be in the startup phase of the journey. And all of those companies you saw on the previous slide were backed by venture capital. And I have the definitions and kind of dictionary definitions of those two terms behind me. But indeed, what brings the two parts of my career trajectory together are being on these two sides of the fence. On the one hand, my experience with Zalora, one of the leading fashion e-commerce ventures in Southeast Asia, as the founder and CEO for over a decade. And on the right, now for the past 5 years, starting and leading one of the early stage venture capital firms focused on the Philippines. So my experience in entrepreneurship started in 2012. I had just moved back from Singapore, where I was working for one of the management consulting firms there. And we had an idea that we could unite and change how people shopped for things in this country. The picture behind me is one of our Zalora pop-up stores. Zalora is a fashion e-commerce website where we have over 2 million items in our warehouse, which is just off the Muntinlupa-Cavite Expressway exit in the south, and sell across a range of different categories to Filipino consumers all around the country. This particular exhibition was one of our Zalora pop-up stores, and this was our take on how to fuse the online and offline shopping experience. So at the store, you could actually not walk out and purchase items inside as you would a normal store, but you would rather scan the hang tag with your Zalora app, and some of this Nike product who we co-produced the store with, you could then purchase on your Zalora app. So the idea was to fuse online and offline shopping. It was a tremendous decade-long experience for me, and then one that I'm very proud of, and the team that I built is still very much running Zalora Philippines. I had the benefit to be able to go back to my alma mater, Harvard Business School, where I took my MBA, and where they are now teaching the Zalora Philippines case. And while the case of the title certainly fits the challenge that we were seeing throughout that decade, going from a high-growth startup and then focusing on profitability as we were able to scale. I think this, for me, was really a personal milestone, being able to, after having learned about all those case studies in my time at HBS, being featured as one of the protagonists to share our story. And ultimately, the Zalora story culminated for me in us being able to IPO the company on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. These are pictures of me on July 2019, which is when we were able to list our parent company in Frankfurt. Many of our investors along the way were European, so they opened many doors that allowed us to list our company on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. This is what then really made me inspired to make a move then to the investing side of the table, and much of the proceeds that I was able to enjoy from this activity, I've since reinvested in supporting the next wave of entrepreneurs and supporting other Filipino technologists and entrepreneurs and founders who might be looking to have a similar journey, have initial venture funding to be able to scale their specific ideas. So since then, I've now, Kaya Founders has backed close to 50 startups, and these are some of the pictures of the founders that we've backed along the way over the course of the last 5 years. We invest in anything with a Philippine angle, so any manner of sector, from fintech to e-commerce to sustainability and climate, healthcare, you name it. If it has a founder focused on solving some of the problems in the Philippines, we're certainly interested to potentially invest. Who we are is we're an early stage venture capital firm. We invest as early as day zero in the journey. So anyone with an idea and a PowerPoint and a willingness to bring an idea to life, we would back. In our mind, this is how you level entrepreneurship and level the playing field, is that you don't need to come from wealth or have money yourself to become a startup founder. As long as you have the grit, the resolve, the domain expertise to start something, we'll back you as early as day zero. The startup journey, and many of you might be familiar with some of the nomenclature and the stages of the startup journey. Venture capital very much is a function of that. We invest in the earliest stages of the journey, so the pre-seed, seed, Series A, as we say, stages of the journey, with the goal that within, say, a decade of our investment, that company is able to fully commercialize and meet an exit in a way that we were very fortunate to do at Zalora, IPOing on the Deutsche Börse. The venture capital life cycle is one where, and this is what I do as a day job now, is meet founders, ask them about their businesses, see if there's a fit and interest from our investment committee for us to invest, and then we support those founders as they grow their businesses in the Philippines, again, in whatever field that might be in. And with the hopes, of course, that we're able to return capital to our investors and allow the cycle of funding, of exciting ideas, and the scaling of amazing businesses to continue and add to the nation-building efforts of the country. So we recently announced our second fund close, and this is the fund that we're investing out of now. I thought what might be interesting is to tip my hat to our hosts for this afternoon and be able to share some of the three of the 43 startups that we've invested in that someone in the team has kind of walked these hollowed halls at some point in the past. So with that, I'll share examples of 3 different startups that we've backed, and again, the common connection being thanks to our host for this afternoon. One of them is a device insurance company called ProTech Devices. What's amazing about this company is while they're headquartered and founded in the Philippines, this company is now active across multiple markets in Asia, the Philippines being the most developed of those. And ProTech has a presence now in markets like Sri Lanka, in Nepal, Bangladesh, and looking at other markets in South and Southeast Asia accordingly. So this is a great example of a Philippine-led and Philippine-founded company being able to have a global impact and not only meet customer needs here in the Philippines, in this case, device insurance for those who purchase electronic devices, but also do so across a broad range of geographies around the world. The second example I'll give is First Mate Technologies. I first met the CTO, the Mark Yao, as interviewing him, going from this institution to where he ended up. He met his co-founder at Harvard, where he was a computer science major. They saw the opportunity to set up a business that allows them to leverage the talent in the Philippines, particularly on the coding and engineering front, and market to companies around the world who need software engineers supporting their business. So First Mate Technologies is a investment that we've made since these two co-founders started it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And finally, going from the world of device insurance to software engineering, the third other example, just to give you a sense of the broad swath of different types of startups that we invest in, is Advance. This is a fintech company. This fintech company allows employers to enable their employees to receive their wages earlier than the typical cycle. So this is called an earned wage access venture. And really enabling employers to provide a service. In the Philippines, you would know of this picha de peligro, or this kind of being able to manage from paycheck to paycheck on a bi-monthly basis. And this company is able to address those concerns of a common concern of Filipinos throughout working for different corporates. So just 3 examples from our portfolio. As I mentioned, we've invested in many more. While we didn't start out having an investment thesis, we said anything in the Philippines we were interested in, and really as a means to support national development and entrepreneurship. But over time, we've evolved around these 3 categories, and you would have had a flavor of some of each of these categories through the examples that I shared. And what's exciting is that we see this as a 10, 20, 30-year horizon where the Philippines will continue to be one of the most exciting places to invest in the region and the world. Our impact by the numbers, we've made 43 investments, and we've, in addition to the capital we've raised, which is the 1.68 billion pesos number, we've been able to catalyze more than double that amount in other investors coming into the companies that we've invested in early on. So this is the multiplier effect that we see in venture capital, and this is really where we see this our role as helping to make the pie bigger, for the country overall. The next slide is the other impact we've made, and these are the lives of the founders who we back. And my question to you and the audience is that, if you've ever had an idea that you thought could change the world, then certainly I'll be here and love to chat with you. I'll leave you with, it wouldn't be a technology startup if I didn't use AI, generative AI, to leave you with a closing thought. So this is our theme of how we think about our mission at Kaya, is that we build the future we want to see one startup at a time. And we put that into AI and ask them to spit out an image for us. So I'll leave you with this generative AI generated image of our mission at Kaya to help the country and the Philippines. Thank you very much, everyone. Great to be with you.